Why you must consider staging your Newport Beach home before you list. Before I get into it, if you're new to this channel or you haven't done so yet, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell. It's a free way to support the channel, and it'll also ensure you never miss any future videos that we make. Now, I gotta start by saying that staging and design is one of the most grossly underrated strategies when it comes to selling real estate. In fact, some sellers are all about it, but most don't think they need it. And they're like, will it even make a difference? So I wanna start this video by talking about some of the common objections that I get when we're talking to a seller. And these are probably some of the things you're thinking about if you're thinking about selling and thinking about staging. I hear it's too expensive. I hear I don't have time. I'm not paying X to rent furniture. I'll stage the house myself. The market's hot. I don't think it matters. We'll find a buyer who can see past all of our stuff. They can imagine the place empty. I can literally go on and on about staging. And so what I thought would be really cool is if I actually shared some statistics around staging. I actually went to ChatGPT and leveraged AI. And I basically said, hey, what are some great statistics when it comes to the psychology of selling, the emotional aspect of selling? How does staging make a difference when you're selling a property? And here are some statistics that I was able to uncover that I want to share. So the first one is consumers are willing to pay up to 20% more on a product when they feel a strong emotional connection to it. This is absolutely true. I've literally sold properties that sold for 10 to 20% more than the most recent data point because we actually took the time and effort to create a beautiful design. The second statistic is homes that are staged before they're actually listed sell 73% faster on average. Now, I don't know, that's a pretty specific statistic, but the bottom line is when you stage a home and a buyer falls in love with it emotionally, it's gonna sell faster compared to a home that looks like a project. According to the National Association of Realtors, 22% of listing agents reported an increase of 1 to 5% on their sales price when they staged, and 17% of listing agents said they noticed a 6 to 10% increase on their sales price when they staged. So the bottom line is we are noticing as listing agents that when a seller stages their home, when a seller takes home preparation seriously, they get more money on the sale. Another statistic is over 90% of buyers start their home search online, where visual appeal is critical. Staged homes are more likely to catch a potential buyer's eye and stand out from the competition. I mean, do you see how fast people scroll on their phones when they're looking through properties or looking through anything? As a nation, we are just conditioned to just swipe. It's no different when people are looking at houses. If the photos don't grab the audience, they're not gonna wanna see it in person. And if the home doesn't look great, then the photos aren't gonna look great. Another statistic is that 83% of buyer's agents said that staging a home makes it easier for their buyer to visualize the property as their future home. Believe it or not, we work with a lot of buyers, and many buyers can't visualize space. Hey, Robert, what goes there? Hey, what's this room for? When I talk to my sellers, a lot of times what I say is staging not only creates an amazing living space, a metaphorical model home, but it does the thinking for the buyer. So the buyer, all they have to do is walk into the house and fall in love. And the last statistic, and this is something that we constantly prove over and over and over again, the average cost of home staging is often a fraction of the price increase. The return on investment can be significant. What I tell every seller that I work with is that our goal is to create a 4 to 6 or more times your ROI, which means every dollar you spend in home preparation, which includes design and staging, we're looking to get $4 to $6 back or more. We've seen situations where we've spent $10,000 to $15,000 and we've actually been able to sell a home for $100,000 to $150,000 more. So the situation around staging is many people look at it as a cost when when we're talking about it, we look at it more of like an investment. And so there's no one size fits all when it comes to real estate sales. We're not talking about, hey, you've got to stage your home or your home will never sell. The conversation is quite simply, if you don't want to do anything to your property based on how it looks and based on the emotional connection that we feel a buyer's going to get, we feel as though your home is worth between X and Y. Now, if you were to spend X amount of money on home preparation, which includes staging and design, then we feel as though you could get this price. So we're actually working on a property right now. We're working with a seller, and we feel as though if he just lists his property and does nothing to it as an as-is sale, the likelihood of him selling somewhere between 11.5 million to 12-ish million is a realistic expectation. However, if he were to spend about $100,000 in home preparation, staging, and design, we feel as though we could push that price closer to $13 million or more. So we're looking at a 10x ROI on home preparation, which the majority of that money is going towards staging. I actually prefer soft upgrades over hard upgrades. So what that really means as a homeowner that's potentially thinking about selling is a lot of times a client will say, hey Robert, my kitchen is outdated or my bathrooms are outdated. Should I spend X amount of money and get new cabinets and countertops and new sinks and fixtures, which is gonna cost me $25,000 to $30,000 per bathroom or maybe $50,000 for the kitchen? And my recommendation is always, well, we can look into it, but if you only have the option to do one or the other, hard or soft, I always am a fan of the soft upgrades versus hard upgrades because design is what's gonna help sell the property. I've personally seen homeowners stage a home that's outdated with modern furniture, and I've actually literally seen buyers come in and maybe the husband will say, well, honey, this home isn't turnkey. And the wife might say, well, you know, I know we're gonna have to do some work, but the home just feels great. I just love the living space. I love the way the design is. And so design, the soft upgrades could be a fraction of the cost of the hard upgrades. And you just have to understand what your options are as a seller. Again, sometimes we stage a home and sometimes we don't. But if you're a seller that's willing to keep an open mind around the staging process, then you could potentially set yourself up to win big. 6 to 10% more on sales price, which means more money in your pocket for that upfront investment. So look, staging and home design isn't for everybody. I'd like to hear from you. Are you a fan of staging? Are you not a fan of staging? And if you've ever sold a home and did stage or didn't stage, let me know in the comments how your experience was. I'd love to know more.